Over the last few years, a terrible civil war has broken out in the nation of Syria. The war is brutal and it is violent. And in that war, in the crosshairs of the violence, are innocent families. And thousands upon thousands of refugees have been fleeing Syria in search of a safe home. And it's created quite the crisis in our world. They pack onto little boats like this one, hundreds of them pack onto these little boats. They head into the water. They don't know where they're going, but they know they need to get away from where they are. And in the country of Greece today, there is a small, quaint little monastery on the coast. 15 nuns live there. And for decades, they lived in quiet solitude. But then one day, what happened was boats like this one began to show up on the shore. Thousands of refugees. Many of them desperately hungry, cold, and sick. And these nuns made a decision that they would pull together the scant resources they had. And every time a boat comes into their shore, they meet that boat on the shoreline with warm blankets, with water, with hot food. And they pull these people off the boats and they care for them. Now, many of these folks on the boats come from a different religious background than these nuns do. Many of them don't even speak the same language. But when one of the nuns was asked why they bend over backwards to welcome these refugees, she said these words, "We see in each one of them the face of God." And how could we turn away from God in our midst? What happens when we remember the truth about you and me? We are sacred, made in God's image. It changes the world. It changes the way we see others. Because when we look in the face of others, we see the face of God. We see someone of sacred worth, of infinite value. And when we can begin to see each other that way, no longer can we speak words of cruelty. No longer can we demean one another. No longer can we bring harm upon one another, for we know that in each other's eyes we see the reflection of Almighty God. Friends, you are sacred. It's who you really are. And if you remember it, it'll change the way you see yourself. Indeed, it'll change the way you see the world.